We have seen an exhibition today at Thiruvananthapuram. Dead rubber? Nah. Once again, a chance for Virat Kohli to reiterate his brilliance. The king is making up for lost time. 2 years without a century now, 3 centuries in the last 4 matches.
And 4 centuries on January 15th.
Of course, Jan 15, 3 in ODIs, 1 in tests. The other 2 times in 2020 and 2021, Jan 15th, of course, he didn't play the Brisbane test in Jan 15, 2021. 2020, he was dismissed for 16 by Adam Zampa in that Mumbai ODI against Australia. But apart from that, it's only been centuries and centuries ever since 2017.
On the date, January
15th, yeah. I just realized, in fact, I was told some time back that every year on January 15th, since 2017, Virat has been getting 100.
Of course, and it all started with that England ODI again.
This one is, I think, a bit. I think they've forgotten about 2020 and 22.
He didn't.
He didn't play in 2021.
That's what I was wondering.
2020, he was dismissed for 16.
So he didn't get a ton. But beyond that,
that's what I was. In fact, So 20, 19, 20. Anyways, forget it. Doesn't make a difference.
So 390, and let's not forget, such has been Virat Kohli's audacious 166 that Shubman Gill's second ODI century
got kind of overshadowed.
Got overshadowed, but it was Shubman Gill who said the initial advantage. 116 magnificent runs, looked good for a 200, but fell to a bad shot.
Yeah, cross bat shot to a slower ball from Rajata. Yes.
Yes. And Sri Lanka just didn't help themselves with some bad catching, poor fielding, and what we see 390 for 5. 116 from Shubman Gill, 166 from Virat Kohli, 13 fours, 8 sixes. Man, oh man, what a brilliant performance from him. And Rohit Sharma, you could see how distraught he was when he holed out to deep mid-wicket.
Okay, I think he knew that this track had plenty of on it for the batters. It was not going to be a track that troubled the batsman too much. There's plenty there. I mean, 2 tons by 2 different batsmen tells you everything you need to do. And yes, you can place some criticism on the Sri Lankan bowling and definitely the fielding, because I lost count after a point of the number of dollies they dropped on the day.
Yep. So Virat Kohli, you could argue that in Barsapara he was given a chance by Dasun Shanaka and Kusal Mendes of Rajita. Here it was a chanceless, flawless knock. And looking at the way how he accelerated at the end, man, oh man, it is that Kohli.
No, look, he's ended with a strike rate of nearly 151. That's massive.
That's massive. And that shows that Virat Kohli is in that zone wherein now anything he touches turns to gold. Anything he touches. Right from that partnership that he stitched with Shubman Gill, 131. From that point on, he has been absolutely flawless. 13 fours, 8 sixes. That means how much has he hit? 52. He has hit 100 of his runs out of 166 in boundaries.
Exactly.
So it is a very, very even, you may say, singles and twos. And today, why have I said that intent and that zone? Looking at the singles and the twos that he ran, it was the same Virat Kohli of 2017 to 19. Absolutely aggressive while taking the runs and wanting to be on strike every single time.
Yeah.
The Sri Lankans have borne the brunt of Kohli's greatness ever since 2009. His first major century came at the Eden Gardens with Gautam Gambhir at the other end, ironically. Then the making of GOAT Virat Kohli, that Hobart 100, 133 of 86. And now, 10 years later, 11 years later, he now has 10 centuries against them.
Correct.
He is now
3 of them in this series, right?
2 of them in the series. He is now the only individual in the history of ODI cricket to hit 10 centuries against one opponent. He had the record of 9 against West Indies and Sri Lanka. They only played with 9 against both of them. Tendulkar did it against Australia. But the perfect 10 Virat Kohli wanted, he's got it against Sri Lanka. And now, more importantly, 46th, 74th overall, he's 3 behind Tendulkar in the ODI tally, 26 overall when it comes to international cricket. He's got 6 ODIs left against before the IPL. Okay, he's got 3 against the West Indies. He's potentially got about 7 in the Asia Cup. He's got more in the World Cup. Man, I mean, you can now honestly start to visualize that yes, Kohli can be that 100 century maker. He can do it if he maintains this kind of consistency for the next year or so. And looking at the strike rate, next 50 balls, I mean, he had hit 65 of 65 balls. 65, yeah, 50, yes, 60 balls, 65 of 60 balls.
So a little over 100 of that.
101 next runs came in just 50 balls.
Exactly.
200 plus strike rate, and that is why you see now King Kohli is well and truly.
And don't forget, the New Zealand tour which we're talking about is up against very much a second string New Zealand squad. It's nowhere near a full strength New Zealand. So, and India are playing pretty much a full strength squad. I mean, yes, there's no KL Rahul, there's no, I think, Akshar Patel either. But I think even beyond that, you have replacements for both of those players, and you have the likes of Rohit there, Kohli in this form. I mean, I feel for New Zealand really in the upcoming,
Yes.
white ball tour for them.
Absolutely. 3 ODIs, that too Hyderabad, Raipur and Indore. Hyderabad, Kohli has a very good record. Indore also, he's dominated on occasions. Raipur, I think it will be the first or second time that they are going to play an international there. So not much of a big sample size to gauge why. But oh boy, teams better be scared. Be very, very scared. If Virat Kohli in this avatar, who looks twice more hungrier, every team has had it.
Absolutely. Just zoom in slightly. I'll be able to read.
Yeah. So looking at,
Let's.
before we come to the comment section and all that, there is one more debate that will open up now. Shubman Gill. Now Shubman Gill, his 100 now has meant Ishan Kishan more or less has to wait his turn as an opener, and he'll have to bat in the middle order now.
No, 100%. There's no way now unless, you have the occasional series where Rohit rests. And even that seems likely to happen in T20s where it seems pretty clear he's not being seen as a future prospect for T20Is. But in ODI cricket, I mean, I don't think, as you say, with Kishan, he'd either have to bat in the middle order when given the chance, or if one of Gill or Rohit picks up a knock, that's the only time he gets to bat at the top of the order, because right now I think Gill has made himself pretty undroppable as a
ODI opener.
Yeah, 100%.
So looking at it in this way, Shubman Gill in the past couple of series, you've seen in the series against Zimbabwe, we've seen it in New Zealand, we have now seen it against Sri Lanka. He didn't play the Bangladesh ODIs. Shubman Gill now has been simply magnificent. You can't argue his record, which has been really, really great.
Absolutely.
And at this point in time, the opening conundrum seems to have been solved, at least for the time being.
Yeah, I don't think there's a conundrum anymore.
Ishan Kishan.
Again, no, not with the kind of form which Gill is showing. Unfortunately, I also feel bad for the guy. But truth be told, when Rohit is around, you're starting either or of Gill and Kishan. And if you look back in time, then you'd see that even in 2022, Gill had a fantastic record in ODIs, which is where he was playing most of his cricket. So it would have been very harsh to drop him just on the basis of Kishan getting a 200. The good thing is that it keeps Kishan in the hunt. And don't forget, Rohit isn't playing forever either. So, it's not like that opening won't come for him. But as of now, I think Gill is ahead in the pecking order as far as ODIs is concerned.
So, our unanimous opinion in all this is that Shubman Gill has all but cemented his spot in that opening slot. Ishan Kishan, if given the chance, will have to bat in the middle order. But even that middle order is not...
it's not a sure he'll get a spot.
Yes, because Shreyas Iyer is going to be a certainty in that. Of course, in the last 2 ODIs, he's not performed well.
No, but again, see, he's gotten starts.
Yes.
And every time he's gotten out trying to attack. I think if you're looking at a number 4 in ODI cricket, especially considering the fact that you want someone who's looking to attack the spinners, you're running the risk of them getting out as well. And truth be told, I think it's quite okay if he got out the way he did. When he was playing, it's not like he looked out of touch. He was getting starts, not getting that one big score. Good thing was everyone else in such good form didn't really matter. Let's actually quickly take a look at what it was that, Gill said, because he spoke to the host broadcasters afterwards.
So, Shubman Gill has said that when you are batting with someone like Rohit or Virat, you don't have to do much. We were just talking about whom to target and when to target. We didn't score much in the first few overs. So then we discussed on scoring faster.
I think
he didn't score much in the first few overs. I thought it was
first few overs were still
6 overs.
slower. They were still a little slower than what they were as they went on. So
man, 6. Scoring at 6 runs.
Just go back. There's one point I wanted to where he says,
I remember watching him as a kid, and it feels great to share the crease with him today. He's amazing.
The point I was pointing out is, see, where he says that the odd ball was keeping low, but apart from that, nice wicket. That might be a problem for Sri Lanka in the second innings because again,
you're playing 3 spinners.
Exactly. So if you have slow balls staying low, you're in for a lot of trouble.
Exactly. The pitch is keeping very, very low, and that is why now, not happening, boss. It's going to be a very, very. Sri Lanka managed to at least go past 300 when India had scored 373. But here, it's 20 runs more, about 15 runs more. Now, what are you going to do with that? And Sri Lanka, remember, they may be without some of their players because remember, the likes of Jeffrey Van der Sey and Ashin Bandara, they had a bad collision when Kohli was batting on 99. Remember, he had hit a 4 towards deep mid-wicket. In pursuit of that, both Ashin Bandara and Jeffrey Van der Sey collided with each other. Now, whether Ashin Bandara is fit to bat, we don't know. So, that will be one major, major problem. So, Shubman Gill has all but cemented his spot, and Kohli, King Kohli. We told you, that 2023 seems to be the coming of a new normal. Kohli scoring centuries for fun. India is rattling up bilateral wins after bilateral wins.
Truth be told, they were doing that in 2002 as well.
The world is
22, sorry.
Yeah, the world is in a better place now with less COVID.
Don't say that.
I mean, like fingers crossed, hopefully. But at this point in time, I will come to one more aspect of Virat Kohli later. But the third major talking point that I want to do.
I think I know what's coming.
Yes, please go ahead.
Surya Kumar Yadav.
Okay, yes. I mean, KL Rahul was promoted and he got.
No, he wasn't
2
promoted.
crucial
He wasn't promoted. He was coming in at his usual position of 5.
Yeah.
My point was, what is the need to be sending KL at that position, knowing full well he's not going to be playing the ODIs or T20Is against New Zealand, and you're most likely going to have to rely on Sky in that position. It's a dead rubber as dead rubbers come.
Yep.
And I mean, India don't need the Super League points. The series is sealed. So there's effectively nothing to lose.
I mean, even India don't have anything at stake until October.
Exactly.
Because they were the first team to qualify.
As host.
Yeah. So, okay, how many overs did KL Rahul bat? Hardly 1 or 2?
At most 2.
How much did Surya get to bat? Just 1?
He batted 4 balls.
4 balls. 4 balls for 4 runs.
Yeah.
KL Rahul, 6 balls. Okay.
7 runs.
In this kind of a situation, I think it was a lose-lose situation for both KL Rahul and Surya Kumar Yadav.
No, at least if you had sent Surya and he got out first or second ball, you would have at least said, okay, yeah, no problem. You had these many runs on the board at that point. It didn't really matter who you were sending. Any runs you got from there on out, you were already at 350 types. So,
because see, out of those 4 balls, 2 he mistimed.
yeah.
He totally mistimed. Luckily, he didn't go to the fielder. The third time he mistimed it, he fell to the fielder.
Yeah.
But everybody seems to forget Surya Kumar Yadav's tendency. When he was batting, okay, when Surya Kumar Yadav was batting, he had revealed a very interesting insight on how he gets going. First 10 balls, he needs to bat, he needs to at least hit 3 to 4 boundaries to ensure that he is in rhythm. In this case, he was not going to get 10 balls to get into rhythm.
Exactly. There were barely 10 balls there for him to play.
Exactly. So that is why in that context, I had said it was a lose-lose situation for Surya Kumar Yadav and KL Rahul because they had gotten the runs. I think 350, 360, 370. You know that with this Sri Lankan batting, they may at least put up a fight and not lose by a massive margin.
But they're not going to win.
That will be very, very difficult from now. So that is why Roy SP, I will just come to that super chat. Sorry to say that Sri Lanka are a bad ODI side. They just give up so early. Just hoping batsmen to throw wicket, taking nothing away from batsmen.
No, correct. Sri Lanka, as I've said, I said this after the first ODI, is that this is going to be a very lopsided contest because Sri Lanka are not a good ODI side. They're competitive in T20Is. ODIs, no. They don't seem to have that level, and unfortunately, it's shown.
Yep.
It's shown in this series that there's a massive
Big gap.
chasm of class.
The only time they were competitive was the Kolkata ODI,
Huh.
wherein they were in with a chance, but their lack of experience.
But even there, it was as much down to the pitch as anything else, because that was a spicy pitch. There was
Yeah.
something in it for the bowlers.
even lack of experience ensured that they couldn't run through the batting lineup.
Exactly.
So that is why,
And also, don't forget, they didn't have enough runs on the board to begin with.
yeah, 215.
If it had to be even 250, 260,
yeah.
then it would have been a bigger challenge.
It needed some effort from your number 8 and Dunit Vellalage to ensure that you got past 200. Otherwise, you're not even getting past 200.
Correct.
So, unfortunately, at this point in time, it is really, really sad that Sri Lanka are not able to match up. And remember, number 8 is still not sealed yet.
Hey, and
The
Sri
top
Lanka,
eight-
Sri Lanka right now seem likely to be destined for the, what do you call?
Both South
qualifiers.
Africa and Sri Lanka.
Yeah, they're destined for the qualifiers.
Yes, because see, although Sri Lanka are in a much better position than South Africa look all set to go to the qualifiers.
Okay, I think they have what, 2 or 3 ODIs?
They have 3 ODIs against England. Then they have 2 against the Netherlands, although we don't know whether that's part of the Super League. Sri Lanka have 3 more after this against New Zealand, in New Zealand. But again, looking at this current Sri Lankan batting
I'm
lineup,
pretty sure New Zealand would run through them.
exactly. And again, 2 tests. Remember, they're the only team still in contention for the World Test Championship. But New Zealand and New Zealand will be very, very tough. So that is why, yeah, Sri Lanka have not been in great position at all. And once again, who would have thought that this was the same Sri Lankan team in the earlier decade who were reaching the ICC World Cup finals, semi-finals, were winning tournaments, but
And also it shows you the difference between a team playing ODIs and T20Is. Because don't forget, this same Sri Lankan side are Asia Cup champions in the T20 format, but in ODIs they look so hopeless. They
are
just look very different. Like honestly, if you think about it, India won the series 2-1, the T20I series. But Sri Lanka maybe 1 or 2,
that Mumbai,
Yes.
what was Shamika Karunaratne thinking?
Yeah. Beyond, if that 1-2 moments had to go their way, they could have actually won that series.
Yes.
But here, they've not been in with a chance anytime really. Even in Kolkata, with Hardik and KL at the crease, you didn't really feel worried. You knew, yeah, okay, no problem. They might take some time, but 216 shouldn't really be much of an issue.
Yeah, and they just waited for things to happen in the Kolkata. They didn't attack.
Even today,
Yeah. They just gave up. When the scoring rate went to 6 per over, they just gave up.
Yeah, they just seem to shut shop mentally. I don't understand what was going on. And see, the thing is, if you do that in a 50-over match, in the first 15 or 20 overs, boss, you're in for a long innings.
Yeah,
and
and
that's
they
what
were
happened.
in for a long innings.
They were in for a shellacking. I mean, Gill was hitting them for fun. Kohli came on and hit them for fun. Even the likes of Shreyas were looking to just get your runs because you knew this wasn't a pitch that had any demons. And quite
Exactly.
frankly, this was an opposition that weren't really trying after a point.
Absolutely. And Virat Kohli, let me just tell you that, as we have said, 65 runs of 60 balls, next 50, 101. Now, this is a new dimension which shows that he is in that form that he is, because look at in the previous instances what happened. Okay. You argued that strike rate was a problem in T20Is, wasn't it? Now he's addressed that in a big way. And in this way, you cannot question Kohli on any fronts. Why? He set up the series with a century. This is the deadest of dead rubbers, but not for players. I mean, let's look at it. In an ODI World Cup year, no game is a dead rubber.
But not for players.
Not for players whatsoever. If Kohli had failed, then they said, oh, maybe those 2 ODI tons came when the pressure was not there. Some other condition, bowling, maybe he got lucky. But here, he's maintaining that consistency. However, if Kohli maintains this consistency for New Zealand, 3 ODIs, Australia, I think the major test for India heading into the World Cup year are only 2. Australia series and the Asia Cup. Asia Cup, that too, when you're playing on flatter decks and against bowling attacks, who is the most potent bowling attack in Asia? Pakistan. But even Pakistan are struggling in ODIs at this point. They lost a series to New Zealand for the first time at home. They had lost a one-off. That was in 76. 46 years later, they have lost a test series. They lost an ODI series.
Correct.
So, which bowling attack can test India? Sri Lanka definitely not the one. New Zealand, because they are playing a relatively B team, they are not going to test him. The only hope is Australia. Okay, so Australia in March, that will be the key. And maybe this century tally now improves his record in tests, because test matches he's not yet gotten his mojo back.
Yeah, true.
But if there is one team that he can get his A game against and break that drought,
Australia.
it is against Australia. He's got a fantastic record against them. Only one century at home, but he's got most away, and that too in Australia. So that is about it. And let's take some comments now. Shan is saying, surely Gill need an ODI. Today is a very flat track compared to Gill. Ishan is best and left opener. We need Sky in place of KL Rahul. Today, India only 5 bowlers is not good.
I mean, he's got a lot of points.
Okay, let's take one by one. Okay. Gill now in ODIs.
Undroppable.
Yes. Today is a very flat track compared to Gill. Ishan is the best and left-handed.
See, left-handed I agree with, but you can't say best. I mean,
he's not the best. But again, that one-dimensionless.
No, I agree, but are you dropping Gill on current form? You can't. And sadly, you don't have a middle order left-hand bat.
You don't have it. See, all these players that are talking about, Surya Kumar, Ishan Kishan, they are probably not even making it to the ODI World Cup for two simple reasons. One, Hardik Pandya will be back. When Hardik comes back, that number 6 position is his. Now, as a keeper, Ishan might fit in as the keeper if you want to play KL Rahul only as a batter.
But even then, I think
if KL Rahul opens, only and only then you're playing Ishan Kishan.
Oh, that will be very harsh on Shubman Gill.
It might be harsh on Shubman Gill, because see, how is your batting lineup shaping up? Okay, Rohit, Virat, Shreyas and Hardik. At this point in time, your 4 are finalized, almost. Who is your keeper? KL? I don't think so. Looking at fitness.
No, looking at fitness, yes, but right now it does seem like he's their first choice keeper.
Okay, if you take KL, oh man, then Shubman will fit in as your opener. But then you are relying on Ravindra Jadeja as your bowling all-rounder, because Aksar will not fit in. But Jadeja slots back in.
Again, based on recent form, I wouldn't be so sure to make that call so quickly. But again, I think, yeah, based on batting, he might just, and then maybe then you go back to the option of using Jadeja as a middle order floater.
That might be the only option wherein you can get a left-hander.
Or if something happens with KL and then they bring in Ishan as a like for like and put him in the middle order, then. Because the opening slot is now all but sealed. Because we are betting it if the World Cup is played tomorrow. But if Shubman has a lean patch, say against better bowling attacks like Australia and New Zealand, then you will have to have a rethink. Then at that point in time, you will have to get an Ishan Kishan. I think they'll give him a long rope though.
Because Vikram Rathod has clearly said that Ishan Kishan is primarily in the squad as an opener. Only if the situation arises for flexibility, then and only then he will be in the middle order. Otherwise, he's primarily an opener. That is the thing. So, that is a very difficult thing, Shan. And then I think we missed out on some other things. But 5 bowlers, that is how the team composition was, Shan. You couldn't help it today because Hardik was rested. So,
yeah, that means you're automatically going in with one less bowler.
Yep. Would like Iyer, Surya to roll their arms on mid-overs only if they aren't cautious about their arm. Both could be decent for 3-5 overs. No,
Iyer, yes. I've seen him bowl a bit.
Bowled.
But Surya, I don't ever recall him bowling.
Yeah, I mean, even I also, maybe he might have. But Shreyas Iyer again.
See, I've seen him bowl. He's not bad. But again, in today's day and age, I don't see that.
Yeah, there's no surprise element as well. So that's why, nah. Maybe, suppose if you have a problem of plenty, I don't think you should do that. So, nah, I don't see that. I don't think it would be.
So that used to happen with the Indian team a lot when you didn't have an all-rounder.
Yeah.
Because you needed the Sachin, Sehwags and even Gangulis to bowl a few overs to kind of, take away that pressure.
Yep. So that is why. What is the other super chat that we have got now?
I'll just click on that.
Aman Bhatnagar, don't you think today Sky could have come at number 4 and 18 overs were left? In that case, score might get past 424.
See, again, 4 maybe not, because again, you have Shreyas.
What did Shreyas Iyer do wrong?
Yeah, but I think he should have come in at 5.
Yeah. But again, see, looking at the partnerships that were built, you had crossed 350. Coming in at number 5 or number 6 today was a lose-lose situation for most of the players, because you hit out, you would have gotten out cheaply.
Yeah.
You didn't hit out, you would have been damned. So number 5 and number 6 today would have been a lose-lose situation. You had nothing to gain. You had plenty to lose. And yeah, Surya Kumar Yadav, hardened by the fact that he couldn't be promoted up the order. But Shreyas Iyer did no wrong, Aman Bhatnagar. I mean, he gave you the runs, stitched a stand with Kohli, and so what if it is not 420, 425? Okay, I can accept that argument.
If you're playing against Australia.
No,
or England.
Not, England. That would have been the case. But again, Shreyas 38 of 32, 120 strike rate.
And again, I don't mind him getting out, because quite frankly, he went for an attacking shot when he got out.
Exactly. So
Same with even Surya. I wasn't mad at the fact he got out. I just thought, okay, maybe he could have spent some more time. But again, how much more time did he have after that? He had to hit.
he didn't have time. Today, both Surya and KL did not have time, because Shreyas and Virat stitched that stand.
More importantly, you have to also remember, you had your opener score a ton. You had your number 3 score a ton, which meant that even at number 4, you were really fighting for scraps.
Yep.
Because Shreyas, when is he at his best? In the middle overs when attacking the spinners. Here, how much middle overs did he get to play?
didn't play much.
When he was there also, he was more often than not rotating the strike and giving it back to Kohli.
And remember, towards the end overs, it was Virat who dominated strike.
Exactly.
So there is no guarantee that Surya coming in would have actually helped the scoring go to 420, 425.
Yeah, in theory, yes. But
in theory,
yes, but
I
in
can be
practicality,
Einstein
no.
also.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. In practicality, I don't think it would have made too much of a difference, honestly.
Yep.
Although I would have liked seeing him bat at number 5.
He's been picked for this particular game, but I think Surya will get more options in the New Zealand
Yeah,
series.
has to, because quite frankly, if KL is not there, then, but even then, I think, someone like an Ishan slots in. So,
Yeah, but KL and Aksar are both not there.
I think Akshar will be replaced by Washington. And if hasn't Jadeja been named in any of the squads?
No, Jadeja only in the tests.
Oh, okay.
Because now Jadeja will play a Ranji match against Tamil Nadu for Saurashtra.
Right.
So that is how he is going to build his match fitness. Although again there are many questions about the Ranji, but yes, Saurashtra are playing a strong Tamil Nadu team.
No, I don't mind. He could be playing even against Assam for all I care. There, how many runs you score, how many wickets
because
you take.
We don't know Prithvi Shaw.
I don't think so, because the whole point of them playing Ranji now to get this thing back is more for rhythm and rustiness. To shake those off.
Yeah.
It's not to come in stat pad.
So Sridhar Deshpande is like saying,
Just get out of this thing.
Thank you, Sri Lanka cricket. Wherever India cricket is in trouble or questions are raised, you are there.
Very naughty.
Very naughty. But yeah, you play against the opponents that you have to here. And remember, when Sri Lanka were facing a big crisis, it was India who toured them in 2021 during the COVID situation. So,
Arpan Datta is asking an interesting question. Says Gill scored 200, looked very good in the series. Is he ahead of Kishan in the pecking order? Yes. Quite frankly, that was evident when he got the nod ahead of Kishan. And now that he's gotten a ton here, has generally speaking looked very good throughout the series.
Yes.
I think he's 100%.
yeah, I mean, Vikram Talreja saying Kohli's lean patch means one who's made a comment about it. He won't be as consistent as he was about 2016 and he will score some centuries, but not with the same rate. Does he still think the same? Vikram, okay. We are all not flying high by the fact that he scored those 3 centuries
Against Sri Lanka.
and Bangladesh.
Oh, Bangladesh also, yeah.
2 of the bowling attacks that is anyway not going to set the stage on fire. Bangladesh, you could argue, yes. But remember, in that Bangladesh series, who won you the game? It wasn't the bowling to a big extent.
It was Mehdi Hasan.
It was Mehdi Hasan with the bat. So, the same bowling lineup, Bangladesh have been very, very inconsistent. Sri Lanka, well, if he had Kohli situations like that, damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. See, he's at 3 centuries. Let's see now in the New Zealand series. Let's see in the Australia series.
How
if he
he does.
maintains that consistency like it's there for 17 till 19, then yes, he will regain that same bit of consistency that he had in that initial period. But look, a weak bowling lineup can often mask some of the inadequacies.
True.
There are not many good bowling attacks. England is probably one of them.
England, Australia, South Africa.
Perhaps. for these conditions, South Africa's bowling is.
Someone like Keshav Maharaj would be good in these conditions.
Yeah, Keshav Maharaj but Tamre Shamsi was staying the cleaners.
Shamsi, to be fair, I think
Yeah.
Shreyas Iyer only has finished his career.
Yeah. If we score GGK, last question before we wind up, only if we score 420 plus versus weak bowling and like SL, then only we can go for 350 plus teams like Australia. Sky after 30 overs is a must in ODIs, GGK.
A valid, interesting question.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
good point to make.
But only if the situation demands. Only if the situation demands. So every time we can't be aiming for 350. There can be an Eden Gardens like wicket wherein 215, 220 will have to be chased. So
Yeah, and don't forget the World Cup is going to happen in India, where you're not going to be getting a batting paradise every single time.
October,
You do,
November,
yeah, and that time it will be very tricky because again,
Absolutely.
you'll have dew factor coming in, the weather will be changing,
Yep.
so it'll be a tough time for sure. So I don't think every match you're going to be targeting 350 odd. I think some matches 250 might be a winning target.
Yes.
But let's wait and watch. Anyway, the match has started,
and I think
Mohammad
Numanindu has hit a 4.
Yeah, Mohammad Shami being Mohammad Shami.
Yeah. So Numanindu Fernando has gotten going with a 4, and well, we can only hope India can put in a much better bowling performance like they did. We hope we see a Kolkata like repeat, but in the game in Guwahati on a very similar flat deck, India's bowling could not run through.
Remember, they still got to 300 while chasing 370. So
And they were 179 for 7 by the way.
exactly.
So let's hope that India don't make that mistake again. So thank you so much folks for joining us. We'll be back soon for the build up to the Hockey World Cup.
Yes.
India versus England. That'll be a big
7:30, right?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
So 6:30, 6:45 we should be there, and Aniket Dhotre, Sundar should open bowling and Shami used in middle.
I mean,
Not a bad
Sundar
idea.
might just actually get a bowl now. You could very well see.
Not a bad idea because
Yeah.
see, Sundar is a power play bowler and he's bowled very often in the power play.
Yeah, but so is Shami, to be told. And
Yep.
I think recently
That was a bad collision between
Yeah.
Bandara and Vandersay.
Yeah.
So we could be actually having a problem, and oh man.
It's like a football tackle.
Yes, the knee. When the knee hits a particular part of the body, the head or anything, you are in for a long, long period of time as a concussed player. So join us for the Hockey World Cup preview, India versus England, and subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis, and show us some love on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. Bye-bye.